Hey guys, what is up? That's his line. Sorry.
Yeah, you stole my line.
Oh.
You need your own. You need your own tagline.
I know. I need my own catchphrase.
What's it gonna be?
I don't know.
You need a catchphrase.
I need a catchphrase.
Yeah, you do.
So.
What's up?
So we got a couple people hanging out. I know that not all streaming devices obviously allow you to type. So thank you for tuning in nonetheless. But if you can type, say hello, say hi. What's on your mind? How has your weekend been? How was your weekend?
My weekend was off the rails exciting.
It's raining here. Go figure. It always rains. All day, every day, it's raining here. So, but we got some cool stuff to talk about today. We, of course, are going to be talking about NECA's Monsterizer that goes live on sale tomorrow at 12. So,
there's a lot of press about that right now, which is cool.
Yes, I like that it's an event of sorts. Clearly, our neighbors are very excited about it as well. Sounds like they're getting ready to run out the door and buy one themselves, but you, of course, have to buy it on the website. I think that's the only place that it becomes available tomorrow, but if you haven't seen the commercial for the Monsterizer, it's pretty amazing.
You haven't?
Here it is.
Now you can. Well, you know what? Let's turn this up. All right, there we go.
Auntie and monster friends are out of power. Fear not, the NECA Monsterizer is here. Roll the wheel to extend the platform, buckle up your monster and roll it back in. Close the hatch and turn up the switch. Watch your monsters power up with real lights. Then paradise again. NECA Monsterizer with 3 moving parts and 4 different light up options. Monsters of sympathy, new from NECA.
Awesome.
Literally the coolest commercial to come out, and I don't even know how long.
It's like the commercials we used to see on TV when we were kids, and then we were like, I need this.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they put the time into making just an old school classic commercial,
that like stop action,
is awesome. And then, you know, the way the Monsterizer looks now too is like, you know, it lights up, whereas the old one was like glow in the dark. But this one, you'll see blinking and stuff, so it actually lights up. And that, I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah, they're really doing an amazing job on that, so it'll be really cool to get one of those.
The question is, how expensive is it going to be?
Yeah, no one really seems to know. Yes, Gotham City Comics, thank you for tuning in yet again. Yes, I'm going to set a reminder on my phone right now. These, of course, do go live at 12 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow morning. So it'll be 9 a.m. if you're on the West Coast. I'm not sure if you're in other countries, but definitely look that up because I'm not sure. So we're going to set this.
The thing is, this is the kind of thing that's probably going to sell out quick. It's I can't imagine it's going to be around for long. Plus, there's also the fact, too, that it's a NECA online store exclusive, supposedly, just like the Dracula is supposedly an online store exclusive. So I mean, if that's true and you can only get it online, then yeah, it's going to sell out instantaneously because it's cool.
It's amazing.
I would imagine, my guess personally, I think it's going to be $100.
Probably.
A lot of people are saying 60. You heard from somebody that's in with NECA that it's going to be pricey.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is that. And if Dracula...
But no numbers have been discussed, so I wish I had some kind of a figure.
You should have pushed the issue.
I know.
Should have been...
I don't think they were going to tell me, so I let it go. Because I was also trying to buy some things at that particular time. So
I think they would have told you.
I don't think they knew, honestly.
I don't know the price.
It's like a top secret.
So far, nobody knows the price because I've looked on all the different forums and stuff, and there's no price listed. Yeah. But what an amazing toy. Finally, something cool. Like, I don't know. I mean, I collect the old school vintage stuff, the 60s, probably, I guess, from 60, the toys started coming out. The Aurora, you figure start with like Aurora. So like 61, 62 to like 82. That's my window of collecting. I don't go past that because then you just wind up with too much stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how Raymond Castile does it. The dude has like everything from every era. So I would imagine his basement of horrors, probably literally a basement of horror, because it must just be piles of
like
boxes,
epic stuff too.
He's got everything.
Amazing.
He's got tons of stuff.
Collection.
But it's like, man, to collect all eras, all stuff. I mean, you got to have like a warehouse.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the
warehouse of horror.
You know. I don't know.
Gotham City Comics says, I don't think it'll sell out since we were close to Christmas, especially if it's $100. I definitely see what you're saying, but monster collectors have very deep pockets. Monster collectors I've seen.
Well, here's the thing. It's
also new.
I think a lot of whether or not it's going to sell out instantaneously is what does the box look like? What does the packaging look like? Reason being is if Creature from the Black Lagoon is prominently featured on that box, it's going to sell out.
Or are they going to make it look like the old Monsterizer?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. We don't know what the box looks like. If it's got Frankenstein on it and Creature's not prominently featured on the front, maybe it won't sell out. But if he's on there, the creature from the Black Lagoon army will be out in full force. Because let's face it, anything anybody puts out that's Creature sells out first. If Super 7 makes Creature stuff, that's the first one to sell out. If NECA makes Creature, that's the first one to sell out. You know, it's like...
Yeah, Creature stuff does tend to kind of roll the market. Because not only do monster collectors obviously want Creature, but there's people that just collect Creature too. So, but... Well,
I mean, there's people that just collect any specific monster, but for some reason, the Creature collectors are the most... extreme, the most hardcore. Like if there's Creature memorabilia, it's always worth the most. It's always the most sought after. It's always the most, you know, in some cases the most limited, which makes no sense. The fact that NECA decided to release the Creature figure as an exclusive, you know, for what con was it? It was San Diego, right?
I think so.
I think it was,
Let me look that up.
I think it was San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. The fact that they made the Creature as an exclusive and not like a widespread release is crazy, because that one was going to sell without question. You're going to sell way more of the Creature than you would of, you know, say Phantom or, you know, the Mummy. You're going to sell way more Creatures. Definitely. So it's weird they made that one an exclusive. So I think it really does depend on the box. What does the box look like? Yeah. You know, the packaging. Is Creature prominently featured on it? If so.
Yeah, there's a lot of great Creature stuff from NECA right now, too. Like, even just looking up to find that. There's this. I mean, look at that box art. That box art is just absolutely amazing. So, I mean, the Creature stuff is always going to sell. So, I think that could be a driving force of the sale of the Monsterizer. But then again, NECA has been reusing a lot of artwork and a lot of nostalgia on these products, not just posters, but like when we have the figures we're going to show in a little bit. It's the same card art as the 3 3/4-inch Remco figures, and it's awesome.
So most likely that makes you believe that it's probably going to be just like the old Remco.
I think it's going to very strongly resemble the old Monsterizer box. That's my prediction. Does anybody know if there's a picture of it? I haven't seen it yet.
Now, a friend of mine from I think it's Monolith Toys.
Oh yes,
he made a Monsterizer.
That's awesome too,
and his is awesome. So, and check his stuff out. If you're into custom toys, he makes incredible stuff. He's got really, really great stuff. And he does, you know, his own line of custom figures. And they're
a lot
amazing.
Of like Nosferatus and a lot of really, really cool stuff.
And he did a Monsterizer, and that was cool. But this one, you're right. I mean, it's probably going to be very similar to the Remco, the Remco Monsterizer box. But most likely. This is what the old school Monsterizer looked like. This is the original. Now, this is the one for the 9-inch figure. So this one's going to be, I think, the closest in scale to what the new one is. They did 2 Monsterizers, the one for the 3 3/4-inch, which I don't have yet, you know, but will eventually. But this was the one for the 9-inch figures. And, of course, Frankenstein's in there because, well, that's how I bought it. He came with Frankenstein in there. But these glow in the dark, whereas the new ones, on the one coming out tomorrow, they light up, and I think that's awesome. The fact that they light up, I think, is super cool. But it's a really basic toy. I mean, the old one, you literally just press the button, and then there's one light right here, which it's so old school. The wires all hanging out, and like totally. But it literally just lights. You know, the light goes on him, and then you can crank the little thing, and it comes out, and he slides in and whatever. It's a pretty basic toy. But I don't know why, for some reason, these are so hard to get. I don't know if they were limited production or, you know, I don't know, but I don't know if they were maybe too expensive and what the case was, but it didn't seem like they sold a whole lot of these because you don't really see them too much. But if you've ever wanted a Monsterizer, the new one, that's the one to get.
Yeah.
Tomorrow at 12, 12 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow.
Yes.
So.
And it looks like the Dracula you can pre-order him.
Yeah, he's supposed to be out this month, but there's none for sale on like on eBay or on any of the websites or anything. So he is a NECA store exclusive, but since there's no resale ones, I don't think he's shipped yet.
Yeah, but soon. I mean, you can pre-order him.
It says $30. December. It says he's shipping in December.
Yeah.
So hopefully he, you know.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's part of the set. I mean, you got to get Dracula. And I love how in the commercial they're all like prominently featured too.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just Frankenstein and the Monsterizer. It shows all of them. So it's cool. And you know, then it becomes a collector thing where, you know, are you going to open it up? And you know, because if you open the Monsterizer, you got to open the figures, and that would be kind of tough because that card art.
But you know, there's also
you're not going to open the exclusives. You wouldn't open the creature. You just buy an extra Frankenstein.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I wouldn't.
Ghost Viking 69. Funny, I've never heard of it before. Wow, you have it. Yes, the Monsterizer is awesome, and it's definitely an essential for any monster collector. And whether you collect new, vintage, if you can't get the old one, the new one. It looks amazing.
I actually think the new one looks better than the old one. I think the new one just looks, you know, I mean, this is cool for nostalgia purposes, but the new one looks incredible.
It really does.
Which is weird for me to say because I don't collect new stuff, as I show you a new thing.
And Ghost Viking says he had an AHI Frankenstein, which would have been like, that's still one of my favorites. The AHI Frankenstein.
The AHI are the best Universal monster figures ever made, in my opinion, which is tough because the Remcos are a super close second, but the AHIs are just next level. You know, something about them, they just capture perfectly the Universal monsters. But a close second would be the original Remcos, which is what these new NECA ones are based off of. This one, obviously,
the coolest.
You know, the coolest one. I mean, you know, and then the most expensive one now because they decided to make this a Comic-Con exclusive, which is crazy.
Yes.
I would think they would sell, you know, for every other one, they'd sell 10 of the creature.
Yeah.
You go on the back, you can see that they did all of them. So now you can get all of them. They're all available currently, except for him. He's sold out. And so now you got to pay the scalper prices to get him, but worth it.
Definitely worth it. And he glows like crazy.
Yeah.
So
he does.
Cooler. They all glow a little bit, but he really glows.
Yeah.
But that's even how it was with the Remco ones. So.
Yeah, the original Remcos, you know, like Wolfman, it was just like the face.
Yeah.
Phantom was the face and the hands.
Yeah. Dracula's going to be facing
Mummy
hands.
was awesome like that.
Yeah.
The
glow mummy's cool.
Mummy, you know, glow was awesome and because it was the whole body and just like him, the whole body. But I mean, how cool, you know, how cool are these? Like
they're amazing. I think
they really are. Like,
I think they did an incredible job. Like,
and now that they're making the Monsterizer to go along with this, you know, and then the most recent exclusive was this one, Phantom of the Opera, which was a New York, right?
Yeah, New York Comic-Con exclusive.
So, which is him.
Awesome.
And I would recommend getting them while they're still somewhat affordable, especially this guy.
Because I think, I mean, the Monsterizer could end up driving up the price of these too.
Especially him, Frankenstein, because, you know, these will eventually dry up.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to, we have Armageddon outside
Silent Hill. We live in Silent Hill. That's where we live.
And then,
the Mummy.
Of course, the Mummy. This Mummy, though, it says glow in the dark, but it doesn't look like the old Remco Mummy.
Yeah, he doesn't have like that translucent kind of an appearance.
Yeah, the Mummy is like the one of these figures that doesn't really look like the old Remco one.
Yeah.
You know, the sculpt is
This
totally
one's
different.
more kind of consistent with how he looked in the movies.
Yeah.
Like he's more of a movie sculpt than
Which is
like
weird.
a
He's
Remco sculpt.
he's like the one that doesn't look like the Remco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's more so like what you would expect from the movie. So yeah, definitely more of a movie sculpt, but still awesome nonetheless.
What's interesting is at the time they only had the 3, so I don't know if they hadn't worked out the license with maybe the Lugosi camp yet, if they hadn't,
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll be interesting to see if they actually do another run of these. If
Well, I actually saw on NECA's site that there's like they're gonna be doing Bride of Frankenstein.
Of these, this
yeah, I
size?
think so. Let me see if I can find that same thing.
Huh. I don't know, because she's not listed.
I know, but they weren't listed on that.
I know
one
that
either.
it's like sacrilegious to say, but I don't consider Bride of Frankenstein to be like a universal monster.
I know she's part of.
Like she's in the film so quick. It's just such a quick thing, and she's like, she doesn't have that monster.
I know. I feel the same way, to be honest. And no disrespect. She's a great, great character, and
Great
it's a
character,
great
but
movie.
The thing is too, like, do you guys consider Bride of Frankenstein to be a true universal monster, not someone that's just part of the umbrella of universal monsters? Because at that point you'd have to consider things like Monster on the Campus.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to consider
the monsters.
The Metaluna Mutant.
Yeah, I mean, he's been getting lumped in more recently with licensing.
But I mean, if you're going to make more of these, I would rather have a Metaluna Mutant than a Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah, Metaluna Mutant's great.
But
I'd rather a Monster on Campus.
Mole people. You'd have to make a mole person.
Yeah.
One of the mole people. If you're going to incorporate all of it in Universal Monsters out.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is the old one. Goes, which is very similar to what the new one is. But again, this one just glows in the dark and has one little tiny light right here. You put batteries, I think D batteries in the bottom, press the button, and then it lights up. And, which makes sense because these were glow-in-the-dark figures, these old Remco 9-inch ones.
What's up, Snackula? Snackula's back here if you see a poot.
It does the exact same thing. The new one, has the little crank that you can slide it in and put it on, on the inside and stuff. And then and it really does sound like a war zone out here.
Yeah.
We live in
rain.
We live in Kuwait, by the way.
It sounds like it if you just listen to what happens outside of our window.
But the thing is now that Remco's made these, now that NECA has made these Remcos and they're making the Monsterizer, I suppose the next logical question, because all that's left from the Remco line, would be these. The Monster at Home figures.
Come on, NECA.
I would love. And maybe we would finally get a Wolfman. I finally completed this set. They only made 4 of these back in the day. These came out early 80s. They were floating around. I mean, this is 1981, but you could probably still pick these up 82, 83. But for whatever reason, they're super tough to find. I don't think these were out for very long. And if they were, they weren't bought, because most of the time, this is I'm assuming full price, but back in the day, you constantly see these with clearance tags of like 88 cents, 99 cents, 2 for $1, to
go back.
And now they're all hundreds of dollars. So, which is crazy, but they only made 4 of these. And for some reason I was able to get the other ones and just had the hardest time tracking down a Dracula. So we just got this guy yesterday. So, which was cool. They only made these 4: Creature, Frankenstein, Mummy, and Dracula. I don't know why they didn't make a Wolfman.
I know.
It would make sense. I mean, it would have been a cool one too.
Could have done a cool Phantom one.
Yeah, but Wolfman.
But maybe, maybe there's a problem with Cheney licensing back then.
No, because he's listed right here on the back of the package with the
part
of the. They did the 9-inch figure Wolfman. They did the 3 3/4-inch Wolfman. So I don't think it was that. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Plus, they didn't use Cheney's likeness on the Remco cards anyway.
Huh? Yeah, he did.
Oh, they did? I'm thinking of something else. My bad.
Yeah, he's on the box. But these would be cool if they decided to go ahead and
That'd be
make this
amazing if they
line
remade
too,
those.
you know, and then make a Wolfman, you know.
Yeah, this is such a cool toy.
Yeah, different.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, the only ones that make any sense, I suppose, Dracula in the coffin, and then Mummy in the sarcophagus. Frankenstein comes in a little weird box, like I don't even know. I guess like almost like Creepshow with the crate, you know, those two.
Fluffy.
But I'm glad they made a creature one.
Yeah.
Usually, creature got left
Gets
out of a
left
lot
out
of
of these,
things,
yeah.
so they're smart enough to do that. But oh man, to have a time machine, go back to Toys R Us,
Buy
and be
'em
buying
all.
these for $2.97. Crazy. But there was no, you know, there was no additional play sets or anything like that after this. This was the last of the Remco Universal Monster line. After this, that was it. It was done. So, which is a shame. And that's kind of where we stop to. We don't go past this era of stuff normally, but NECA obviously is the rare exception that, you know, how could you even look at this and say no?
You
Like,
can't.
how could you say no to that? You can't say no to this. It's impossible, especially at the price point too. I mean, these were, you know, I don't remember
$20 retail.
Yeah, I think. Well, the regular ones are.
Yeah,
I
the
think these
exclusives are like 30. I think.
Yeah, I think 20. Yeah, $25, $30. I'm not sure, but even at $30, I mean, look at that, right? I mean, that's just
awesome.
And then if like you shut the light off, he's just, you know, it's like.
I know.
It's beautiful.
I'm really hoping to come across a loose one of those at some point. Because I don't have the heart to. I would never.
Well, I have to agree with what Ray Castile says too. He believes that these are just going to fall off the cart at some point due to the weight.
Yeah, he's right.
I don't know. I mean, you know, somebody in the chat the other day said that a lot of the weight is the card, and I do agree with that too. I'd love to see what this figure
Gotham City Comics
feels like, you know, as far as weight goes. I can't tell if it's super light or I've never seen it.
I mean, this is really thick card stock, so that is going to add some weight. But I mean, the figure itself too has got to have a little bit to it.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, how much does the figure actually
weigh?
Like,
they feel pretty, like they would be pretty solid.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like if you kind of like feel both sides of like the card,
it's probably just gonna pop off while we're doing this.
No, I'm not gonna. Because like if you hold it like from this side, you can kind of feel. I mean, obviously it's gonna be heavier on this side. It feels like it's heavy, but it's a lot heavier. So I think it's a combination of the two things together, and just the fact that like you know, you're expecting this to stay glued to just this top layer, you know, because it's not adhered to the entire thing. It's just you know, this little tiny piece of paper on the top that. So it's definitely going to fall apart at some point, I believe. But if you store them on their backs, they should get a little bit more.
What do you guys think is the most definitive creature from the Black Lagoon figure where, you know, out of any era, it can be AHI, it can be Remco, it can be NECA, it can be any of the, you know, any of the lines. Which ones do you guys think is the definitive creature action figure? I guess for me, I'd probably have to go.
That's awesome.
I think that even though the AHI is my favorite, I would probably have to go. The most definitive would probably be this one. I mean, and how could you not want to buy this?
The NECA Ultimate one is pretty badass too.
Yeah, well, there's so many. There's the sideshow stuff. The sideshow stuff is great too.
Amazing too.
I mean, realistically, like the sideshow stuff is like some next level stuff.
Let's take a look at some of these comments. I know some of you guys we got to get caught up. Sorry, guys. We got a little, on track. All right, let's see. Yes, we are definitely hardcore collectors. We have been, it takes a lot of time and a lot of work and a lot of research and a lot of networking and a lot of going to shows. And it doesn't fall into our laps, that's for sure.
I wouldn't say we're necessarily hardcore. I mean, I know some people that are,
by way of comparison, there's some people that have incredible collections that I know respectfully envy until the end of time.
Like where this came from, you know, I bought this from a guy who bought this from a true hardcore collector who has like an entire house filled with Universal Monster, well, just monster toys and, you know, other action figures too, Transformers, G.I. Joe and stuff, but has like the creature from the Black Lagoon pinball machine and, you know, just life-size creatures. And, you know, if you look at some of the other hardcore collectors, they've got life-size mummies and life-size creatures and Metaluna mutants, gigantic things. And they've, you know, and then you've got the legendary guys like Ray Castile and Tesco V, and you know, some of the incredible Kirk Hammett mind-blowing collections. Those are the hardcore guys, the guys that got the, you know, the set of plaques and the real killer 60s stuff, the Frankenstein head speaker, and we have a couple cool, we have some pretty cool stuff.
There's one thing that we have that's the only one in existence.
We do have the Dracula.
We could show that technically. It's not too hard to get to.
But we'll see if NECA decides to make these.
Dracula.
It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if they did those.
If they, I mean, it's impossible to resist any nostalgia type, especially now. If you're, you know, if you grew up with these types of things, like, you know, to be able to get them again for retail, because I mean, these, you know, to buy these, I mean, I think Creature's got to be $500-600
easily,
you know, anyway. And I know, I mean, they're all in the $300-400 range, and then Creature maybe $500-600, you know, more for him. But
yeah,
you know, if you can get this now from NECA, maybe not this, but you know, if you can pick those up from NECA or something like a new Monsterizer, you know, it's like it's more affordable and it'll still give you that nostalgia feeling.
Yeah, it still look great in a collection. It's gonna.
I love the.
Honestly, you know, I love things in the box.
They could do that too. NECA could do the pajama suit ones, the 9-inch boxed ones.
That would be incredible.
They could do those. You know, the ones that look like they're wearing pajamas. That would be pretty cool.
Yes.
And then do them in the box, like the old school box. That would be amazing.
That'd be so cool. That would be
pretty cool.
So, NECA, if you're listening, please and thank you. Let's get caught up on these comments here, guys. We are getting a little behind. Thank you, guys. All right. You guys are awesome. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. If you're just tuning in, of course, we're talking about the Monsterizer. We're talking about Trick or Treat Studios and lots of cool monster stuff. Let's see. Paul says you need some Christmas music playing in the background to block out the noise. It would definitely help, but then we would get copyright strikes left and right.
I don't know. Maybe we can play Lux Interiors. I just got Lux Interiors Christmas mix. Shout out to Kogar the Swinging Ape for putting that up, because I'm anxiously awaiting listening to that. But Lux has a Christmas mix. And
that's
I'm like,
awesome.
Cool. So I gotta check that out. But I don't know. They get crazy with copyright on here.
Yes, they do. Let's see. Ghost Viking says, as someone who collects toys, there's nothing better than hunting them in the stores. Yes. Yeah, finding them in the stores versus buying them online. There's definitely a huge... And I think, too, that you become more fond of the thing that you find rather than the thing that you buy online. I think it has more sentimental value at that point.
The thing is, too, is like, I grew up in the time of the toy store, you know, the Toys R Us and the KB Toys and the, you know, that's like the only real job I ever had was working for Toys R Us. So it's like, you know,
it's a fun one.
You know, yeah, it was a great job. I miss that store all the time. But it's like, you know, when you're so accustomed, when you're from that time period, that era, walking into a Toys R Us, you know, or a KB, and like looking at especially Toys R Us, where it had like the wall of action figures and you would see all the different things. There's something magical about being able to pick that up off the shelf. It's definitely not the same. When you go to a Target or a Walmart, they got the little section of stuff. It's, I don't know. It's not the same as going to a toy store where, you know, so that's why, like, with stuff like this, I don't buy stuff like this from Target or, you know, I don't even go to Walmart, Walmart, but
that place is so scary.
You know, I prefer to go to like the mom and pop, you know, the
support
local
your
toy
local,
guys.
Whether it's a comic shop, a toy shop, give them your business.
Even if it's like $1 or $2 more, the fact that I can have that experience of going into a store that's set up like a toy store, you know, not just a, you know, a store that you can buy a vacuum cleaner 3 aisles over from a creature from the Black Lagoon, like
Yeah,
an
it's not the
actual
same.
toy store. You walk in the door and there's the
Yeah, you don't want to buy
toys
your hot dogs
everywhere.
and your creatures in the same place.
Yeah, exactly. There's something special about that, and it's pretty
buy
cool.
hot dogs.
So I enjoy doing that. So yeah, it's awesome to be able to do that. You know, especially when it's stuff like this.
Yeah.
I mean, when you walk, you walk in a store now. I don't care if you're 10 or 70, you would see that and be like, that needs to come home.
Yes.
You know, that's just beyond. It's just cool,
It
and it
is.
glows in the dark. So yeah, the Monsterizers. Hopefully, it's affordable and we can all get one.
Yes. Snackula wants one.
Snackula. Well, we'll put her in the Monsterizer.
Yeah.
Push her through the thing. All right, what do you got?
Let's get caught up. Goes like I said, or it's all about the hunt. Yes. Space Case. Random question. But do you collect monster masks? I'm glad you mentioned that. We're actually going to feature some of those here in a little bit. Oh, we actually need to plug in the laptop. So I don't know why I didn't do that beforehand, but
I mean, as far as like I'm a pretty major collector of Ben Cooper, Collegeville, Halloween costumes, especially Universal Monsters. I think at last count, I'm over 100 of those costumes, which is insane. So more that than actual masks. I know there's some crazy masks.
we do have some,
and we do have some,
and we'll be talking about those.
Yeah, we do have some, but not like crazy. Like some people, and I love the amazing setup some of the monster kids have of, the walls of these killer masks with, like the buddy of yours,
John.
No,
the
one who's got all the masks. Anyway, some dude she knows has got this insane like collection where it's like the entire wall is all masks, and he's got like every era of Frankenstein, all the way from like Karloff all the way down the line, the Glenn Strange series, and all the different Frankenstein masks, and then all the different Draculas, and it's like it's way cool. But yeah, you can't collect it all.
No,
I mean you can. If you're Kirk Hammett, you got Kirk Hammett money, then you can have everything. If you're Dan Roebuck, you can have everything. Shout out to Dan Roebuck.
I know he's super cool. We're actually looking forward to seeing him again at Monster Bash in the summer. He's awesome. We had the opportunity to kind of chat and hang out with and get to know him a little bit over at Monster Bash back in
Santa
June.
right now.
Yes, last we saw him, he was Santa-ing it up, and he's all like. He had the beard, but last I saw him, he didn't have the beard, so he's not full Santa. I guess I think he's actually in a movie that required the beard, so he has unsanted. He'd shaved the beard, so
yeah, it's a Santa movie.
Yeah, it's a Santa movie. He was like laying on the ground in front of a reindeer somewhere, so it's gonna be really cool.
With the Santa suit on. So.
Yes. So it would be cool to see what he was working on. Super nice guy, and he made a really cool movie about monster kids and like his story and like how he came to be a monster kid. Excuse me guys a second, I'm gonna plug this in. But yeah, he's a super cool guy, and it was really cool to meet him and chat with him, and we're gonna be seeing him again here we go, we got Andy back in.
Yeah,
we're gonna be seeing him again here in the near future, so we're excited to see what he's acquired.
But yeah, if you're one of those level of collectors and you got the house, then you can have all that stuff. When you
have a tiny apartment,
when you have a tiny apartment and a storage space, buying 400 masks just doesn't make any sense.
But if we ever hit the lottery, you guys know, because we'll have all the masks.
But speaking of masks, if you want the Universal Monster masks, at least in my opinion, the best ones that you can get for retail price, which are the Trick or Treat Studios. I'll show you one of them because I took one of them out. So I do want to mention this in case people are unaware. Trick or Treat Studios has lost a whole bunch of licenses. They lost the Halloween 2 license, Halloween 3, the Monsters, but the biggest one is the Universal Monsters. They're no longer going to be making those masks, and which is a damn shame because they're the nicest series of masks that has come out in so long. They did a great House of Frankenstein, Glenn Strange one. They did the Karloff, the Bela one is probably the best retail Bela mask that I've ever seen.
It's amazing.
And here's the mummy one. And I mean, it's just...
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It really is amazing. And, the tags with the original, Universal poster art on them and stuff. They're just...
It's great.
Yeah, these are just, so the plan is once we have the monster room all set up, we'll put the Detolfs or whatever, however.
If you're not familiar with what a Detolf is, it's like a big glass cabinet from IKEA, and it's like a tall one, and it has shelves in it. So we're gonna get like a mask, like one of the foam heads, or something upstaged from a foam head. We're not really sure yet.
Yeah.
Put them at the top of each of these cabinets, and then like all of the mummy stuff in one, all of the Dracula stuff, Frankenstein, and so on, and just kind of like theme the whole thing up.
Yeah.
And make them look awesome. So
that's the plan.
Yeah, and we'll give you guys the grand tour once we get a house. So,
yeah. So importantly,
tell your friends about us so we can get rich and buy that house.
If you want to get these, now is literally the time to get them because time's running out. The license is expired. They're not making any more. You can't get them from Trick or Treat Studios website. They're all sold out. I think maybe I think the Christopher Lee is still available, although that's not Universal. And there's a couple others that I think are still, I think House Frankenstein might be still available, but most of them aren't available anymore. So if you want them, you got to go find them now while you can still get them for a good price because the license is gone. They're not making any more, which is a huge shame. They made killer stuff. They made Trick or Treat buckets, and now those are going for 4 times retail price of Creature and Frankenstein. Yeah. Those were amazing. It would have been killer if they had the chance to do a Wolfman one. That would have been awesome. But they didn't. There's only those 2, and now they're going for crazy money. And they did the Halloween 3 buckets. And you can still get those for retail right now. So if you want to get any of those lines, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, Chucky, the Monsters, Universal Studio Monsters, any of that stuff, the licenses are all gone. So now is your last chance to get those.
Yes.
So yeah.
Let's get caught up. JRod49 says, oop, I went too far. So what's up, kid? Love the Mr. Bones shirt.
Ah, Mr. Bones. I knew a guy who had a Mr. Bones box. You might be him. If you sold that, you're crazy.
Ow! Here we go.
Oh, it is him. Did you sell that Mr. Bones box? If you did, you're nuts. You should have sold it to me.
And if you still have it, we'll buy it. After we sell our souls in any organs that are worth selling at this point. Goes Buggy says, I know I've been to Dan Roebuck's house back in the day. Very cool. Another shout out to
did you see his original collection, the one that's featured in the DVD?
Yeah, do we have that handy to show everybody, or
I was drooling with what he had behind the glass. So yeah, you must have been to his.
Then it was that.
You saw his original collection. I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's working on rebuilding his collection now. I think he sold. I know he sold a lot of stuff, including his AHI Creature squirt gun, which I don't know if we'll find another one of those, but I know he's working on building some of that stuff back. He was crazy to sell that. Crazy.
Now he's like, I don't want it back.
I want it back. Yeah.
We get it there. When you collect monster stuff, it's something that is always part of you. And I'm sure like any monster kid who sold their collection definitely comes to that point where they're like, they miss it. And then they start buying it back.
Well, that's why it's good to be like Ray Castile, because Ray Castile says that he hates selling stuff. He never wants to sell anything.
Yeah.
And, so he's the smart one. That's why he still has all this stuff.
Yeah. If you love it, don't sell it unless you absolutely have to.
Yeah.
But those times do
come. And even if you do have to, don't.
Yeah. Sell something else.
So what are you looking for? That DVD?
Yes. There's this really cool DVD that Dan Roebuck put together. this is terrible. I forget what it's called, but they screened it at Monster Bash, which was really cool because he kind of gave a monologue prior to the screening, and then we all got to watch it in the room with him. And it's cool because he's got a lot of, you know, monster collectors that he knows and he's met over the years, has had them do a little part in the film and, you know, kind of add in their experience as a monster kid. And it's really cool because he kind of talks about like his upbringing. He shows some pictures of himself when he was a kid dressed as Frankenstein and stuff. So it was really cool to, you know, to talk monster stuff with him. And we're looking forward to talking some more monster stuff with him again this coming summer. If you've never been to Monster Bash, you absolutely have to go. If there's any way you can go, and you love classic monsters, that's the place to go. It's not a slasher fest like a lot of the conventions that you go to nowadays for, you know, I mean, obviously there's always a presence of monsters at every horror convention, but Monster Bash is solely focused on monsters, and not just Universal monsters, all sorts of monsters. They have a lot of really cool stuff going on all weekend. And there's game shows, there's free tacos, and they give you breakfast and, you know, cereal breakfast, and they play old school cartoons on Saturday mornings. It's just a whole experience. And if you're a monster kid, you just get to go. Everybody's really chill there. Nobody's, you know, it's just everybody's a kid again for the weekend. And it's just our favorite thing that we go and we do. So if you have a chance to go to that. The one in July, it's normally in June, but wedding season has washed us monster kids out, and we're doing this in July now. So it's in July. They're gonna have Dan Roebuck. I think Claude Rains' daughter's gonna be there. Am I right?
I think so.
A lot of really cool people hanging out, and it's a really fun crowd. And the family that puts it on, they're absolutely amazing. And it's a good group of people, and it's affordable, and it's a lot of fun. So if you do get the chance, plus if you're coming in from out of town, if you call the hotel, they have a discounted rate for Monster Bash so that you can stay there for a discounted price. So if you need more information, obviously just let me know. I'll point you in the right direction because it's definitely worth checking out. All right, let me try to get caught up. Sorry, guys. I promise we will get to every question, comment. The great thing about the creature is that his design is so perfect. Still looks incredible today. Ghost Viking, yes. He's one of those monsters that was just absolutely amazing. I remember seeing Creature from the Black Lagoon as a kid, and those underwater scenes where Rico Browning is swimming, and just how incredible that looked, and knowing that that's practical effects. It's not CGI that you see nowadays. This was real. This was a guy in a suit swimming, and it's just absolutely amazing how that looked, you know, and especially for how, even by, you know, especially by today's standards, how primitive filmmaking was back then, and what they were able to create was just absolutely amazing. And that's why it stands the test of time. That's why there's, you know, still Frankenstein figures flying off the shelves, because it still connects with people. So let's see. Please no Mariah Carey. Yes, you will not be hearing any Mariah Carey here. For more than one reason, we cannot afford that. So there will be no Mariah Carey here. Yeah, the thrill of finding something, definitely. It's like being a lion on hunt for food. Absolutely. And Andy, did you ever go to the toy store in Waltham, Mr. Big Toyland?
I'm very familiar with Mr. Big's Toyland.
He said he's very familiar. He's rummaging for this DVD.
It closed before I was able to go.
Okay.
So I never actually got to go there, but I'm very familiar with it. If you're from that area, that's, you know, that's such an iconic.
Hopefully you guys were able to hear Andy's response. Oh, he did find the DVD.
I did.
So here we go. Back to you,
Who knew
sir.
about Mr. Big's Toyland? Who's the... Oh. No. That might be... That's just a wee bit before my time. However, I did grow up watching WLVI Channel 56 on the little ass TV in my room when I was little.
That's so special though.
You had to turn the dial because it was my parents' hand-me-down television, which was probably the size of this laptop.
Pretty much.
It was like, it was cool, but you'd put it on, a creature feature was on there, and that. But we didn't have like a cool horror host the way like, there was Zachary and Sven Gulli. I think that's why I love Sven so much, is because it's like I get to experience horror host culture now.
Yeah.
Because it's that was kind of like a lost art form.
The cool thing was, and this is a little off topic, but still on, when we were actually at the punk rock flea market today, well, you were filming because you had the Sven Gulli hoodie on. A guy came up to me and goes, "Are you guys from Chicago?" I'm like, "No, why?" He goes, "He's got his Sven Gulli shirt on. I watched Sven Gulli growing up. That's so cool." I'm like, he's like, "He's a real big deal in Chicago." I'm like, "He's a big deal everywhere now, dude." Like, he's like, "That is so cool." And like, it's cool because like, I don't think he realized that like his hometown horror host was like a big deal now. That's awesome.
If you grew up with one, or you're from that time period, you're lucky. You got lucky, because that's what a cool way to get into it. Like, I discovered monster stuff, at least a lot of that stuff from just watching WLVI 56. But it was creature feature. But I think the closest thing to a horror host I had was Rhonda Shear with Up All Night. And I don't know if
that definitely helped his love of horror.
Yeah.
If nothing else.
Yeah. Rhonda Shear kept us all up all night. That's for sure. But she did show a lot of those types of, I saw like, sorority babes in the slime bowl, Bolorama, and Night of the Demons.
Chainsaw hookers.
Hollywood chainsaw hookers. That's one. Jay would remember that one, I'm sure. He might remember a few Hollywood chainsaw hookers. But anyway, these are Dr. Shock's, not Dr. Shock. It's because I read it.
Yeah.
Because,
Dr. Shocker, which is Roebuck's.
Dan Roebuck has a spawn-off of Dr. Shock, which is a Philadelphia area horror host.
Which would have been his horror
from
host
the 70s. So he did a spin-off, and, his character is based off of that character, which is based off of Zacherley's character. It goes down the line. But anyway, that's him on there, Dr. Shocker, which is Dan Roebuck. And these are the two DVDs that he released. This one right here is pretty cool, especially for me, because I grew up in Massachusetts area. And so I went to Spooky World a million times, and Spooky World is on here. And this was kind of why I had to have this, because it talks a lot about Spooky World, and it's got like footage of Spooky World. He went around to all various haunts all across the United States and did like little documentary pieces on them and stuff. But the coolest thing was the Spooky World stuff for me. They're all cool, but the Spooky World thing was a big deal.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Bob Burns was in this too. That's him right there. If you remember the Ghostbusters show, that's him right there. So this is pretty cool if you're into that kind of stuff, haunts and, attractions and Halloween, the history of Halloween stuff. It's a pretty cool set. 2 discs.
These are awesome.
2 discs, and it's
can't recommend these enough.
I
think they were sold out at one point, but
this one was sold out.
Available again.
This was the one that he sold out.
Okay.
I think, because this Vault of Horror, cannot recommend this thing enough. This is literally one of the coolest DVD releases ever. It shows he talks about Captain Company, which is from Famous Monsters era, the little trinket stuff in the back, the cool stuff you could get. He talks about Captain Company. He talks about, he's got this little Frankenstein meets the Wolfman thing, which is amazing. And it shows his collection, which is awesome. And
isn't it in 3D as well?
Yes.
I think this is, if you open it, I think, yes, it is in 3D, and it comes with the 3D glasses.
We've never done this.
I did.
You did the 3D?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I did.
Yeah, it takes you through his collection in 3D, and you put on the glasses, and it takes you like his old school collection before he.
I watched it in 2D.
And yeah, it's really cool. And
of course you had 3D. But yeah, it
deal with him.
It shows his collection.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of interviews with other monster collectors too. Actually, Ray Castile is in this.
Yes.
So it does show a lot of other monster collectors and talks about like that era and stuff. And like, that's an era, obviously we weren't around for the classic famous monsters, Aurora models on the shelf, killer monster drive-in movies. Like that whole era was like way before our time. So it would have been amazing to live that. So it's cool when you get some guys who were a part of that do interviews and talk about stuff and everything.
Yes.
So you can see.
Check out. So let me see if the website
This is
here
essential.
on the back.
You can get this from him.
It's apparently you can also go to www.docshocker.com, and that will hopefully bring you to buy this, because this is definitely a must watch for your monster kid.
Yeah. And he's also involved with the new series of Lincoln monsters that are out now. He's doing, and you can actually get an action figure of him, if you want to, on there. And then also they're redoing the Lincoln monsters too. So, and some stuff that they didn't release. So that's pretty cool too. So he's always involved in a lot of Monster Kid stuff. He's keeping it going, keeping it alive. So you gotta love that. So this is definitely highly recommended. It's killer. And his collection is just, it's not for the faint of heart. Although Tesco V's collection, I need a video of that. Yeah. I need the DVD of Tesco's collection. Maybe we can get to Tesco's house
can watch it and
cry. We'll make it, and then we'll put it out here on the channel.
Yeah, we'll have to.
You can cry
have to
with
get in touch with Tesco and see.
Yeah, his stuff is
I have seen videos of his collection before, and I know that he's gotten some ridiculous stuff since then. I think he just gets ridiculous stuff daily at this point. I think people just send him incredible things on the daily. But Tesco's awesome. He's a super cool guy, and he's he's a monster kid. He's always has been. So I want to get over there.
And he's an awesome person too.
Yeah, he's so cool, and he's like if you're in the community and you're looking for something, he helps you out. He's a cool dude. So definitely want to see if we can get over there and take a look at his collection. It's a little bit further, a little far for us, but goes our Why Not Art says, thank you so much for tuning in. Ghost Viking says, love Kirk's book. Oh my God. Kirk's book is just, I love the posters. Posters are one of my, if I ever win the lottery, I'm just going to go full Kirk Hammett with the posters, because those are, the artwork on those vintage posters is just absolutely incredible, and I've always been obsessed with them. And I mean, we have some really cool insert posters, some original inserts, but Kirk's got the shit.
Kirk's got like those Dracula and Frankenstein,
there's one
from
of
the 30s where it's like along the wall sides. Yeah. What are the ones that are like the size of the wall? They're like 28 sheets or something.
Yeah, it's like just
mega.
It's, I don't know.
Yeah, it like takes up like the whole size of a wall. Like he's got that size.
It's incredible.
There's a guy in New York though, I'll tell you, that's rivals Kirk with
Is that the one with the Abbott Costello wall poster?
Yeah. I don't remember his name, but there's that one dude that posts his posters, man. He's got like
incredible stuff.
Yeah, here's the 35 sheet of this or whatever.
Well,
like
the posters are like insanely rare, because a lot of times they were just like plastered on the wall. They were glued up.
You're talking about posters now that are 70, 80, 90 years old, whatever, and they're fragile paper now. It's like
one thing I would I just think would be the absolute coolest thing that, to my knowledge, I've never seen any ever in any form, but like the displays that you would see outside of like vintage, like you see pictures of them, like black and white photos of like
the movie theater prop,
the promo stuff out front of the movie theaters.
Cardboard Frankenstein cutouts.
Like giant Frankensteins on top of the marquee. Like that just blows my mind.
Dracula heads and stuff.
If anything like that ever surfaced,
you'd be battling Kirk.
I would
Kirk's
never.
Metallica
I would have
bank account.
I would have no chance in hell. I would have to have like Jeff Bezos money to be able to buy that. But it would be like, I just think that that's the coolest stuff that has ever existed in history.
Jelly, I'm more toys.
You're the toy guy. I'm the poster.
So if we look at Kirk's book, she looks at the first half and I look at the second.
Like, I love the toys. Obviously, I have a problem with them too, but the posters are my first love when it comes to monsters.
Yeah. What are you on this side?
All right, let's get caught up. Sorry, guys. We promised we'd get to all you. Oh, shoot. I went too far. Sorry. Let me go back a little bit. Thank you guys all for hanging out and being patient with us. How about monster magazines besides Famous Monsters? Okay. Like Tales of Voodoo, Weird Vampire Tales, Witch Tales, etc. That's from Space Case.
Just
Scary Monsters.
Yeah, I love Scary Monsters. We do have most of the issues of Scary Monsters. And then but yeah, Famous Monsters is
and you guys should definitely hang with us here because we're going to show you something really cool in the line of famous monsters that we have right back here.
We are.
You are.
If you haven't checked out the Famous Monsters convention episode that we put up, that I would definitely recommend checking that out if you're a fan of monster magazines, because James Warren is in it, and James Warren is a true icon in Monster Kid history. He's the guy. And and as much as I love Forey, and I met Forey way back, and he was a super nice guy, and but James Warren is the guy, because let's face it. I know there's Team Ackerman and Team Warren
both.
and we definitely team both, but I'm a little more on the Team Warren side, only because Ackerman was very sci-fi, and let's face it,
coined the term.
He wanted to go sci-fi with the new magazine, and James Warren was the one that pushed it to be a monster solely magazine. So that's really why we got Famous Monsters. So
and if you don't know, he's the guy in the masks on the first 2 issues.
He is. Actually,
speaking of,
just to promote the issue, the episode, if you haven't seen that, this is the mask from Famous Monsters #2, and Jim signed it for me, which was amazing. I wanted him to put. I thought Jim, for whatever reason, likes to sniff things. I don't know. He sniffed everything we brought him. It was so funny. I gave him
issue number 2,
FM2 to look at, and thankfully I had a couple copies of that, because he destroyed that one. But he did sign it.
And, in his defense, it's a very fragile book, as you guys know. And he was just so mesmerized by it, because nobody.
I will show you that.
Nobody had brought him Famous Monsters to sign, and it's he was just so And when we went there was no one else there. He was about to leave for the day, and we went in, and so we had Jim to ourselves, and he was just so over the top excited to check out this, to look at this issue and to go through it. And he's sniffing it. We were cracking up. But then, of course, as he's sniffing it, the cover falls off.
He was legit sniffing the issue. I don't know what made him do this.
They have a certain smell to them.
And he must have wanted to have nostalgia or something, but he did sniff.
He did sniff it.
The magazine. And we've got pictures of him doing that too, in case you don't believe us. But it was
it's on the channel.
Oh, there's video of him sniffing.
Yeah, I think he's sniffing it in the video.
She edits everything. So it was an amazing moment. He was the sweetest guy you could ever meet. I wanted to give him a hug.
I wanted to get adopted.
Yeah.
Jim, what's up?
He was so awesome. Jim Warren is the nicest guy you could ever meet.
So nice.
And it was, I got a little, you can see it in the video. I got a little choked up.
Moved.
I did. I was moved.
I was a little. Look, you're getting choked up right now.
Well, he was awesome. You know, I never thought I'd have the opportunity.
He never,
to meet him.
ever this emotional.
I'm going off
if it's
camera.
Involving a human, he doesn't get emotional. If it's a dog, he'll cry all day, as will I. Yeah. But it was such a special opportunity.
It was. To meet Jim Warren was it was next level, and he was incredibly nice.
And he even asked us for our address so he could send us a Christmas card.
And sometimes you don't know, when you go into things, they say, don't meet your heroes, and in a lot of cases, that's true. I've met a lot of people that I wish I didn't meet over the years. And I've met a bunch that I'm glad I got to meet. So you never really know how it's going to go, but it was awesome. He was an incredibly nice guy, totally super, super cool in every way, but he did destroy this issue. So there it is.
But if you're going to have anybody rip the cover off of your FM2, Jim Warren's kind of the only one that can get away with it.
So, and he drew the little arrow thing pointing at him. So, happy Halloween from Jim Warren. And it's okay that he wrecked this one, because as I explained to him, it's got a great story. And I would never dream of selling it. So I literally don't care. He also gave us this thing. He had him sign that. But it didn't matter because I got a graded one. So, and I actually have, I think, 2 more of these. So I'm good. It was okay that he.
But this one's so much more special now because he signed it, and it was cool because he looked through it, and he was just he was having a moment with it, and that was such a cool thing. Normally when you hand somebody something to sign that they worked on, they just here you go. But he was he took time with it. He looked through it, you could tell he was just reliving that issue.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to see, like, cause like he was enjoying it all over again.
Yeah.
And that was a special moment.
Yeah. So this is just a great piece to have. And I love the story behind it and that he, you know,
ripped the cover off.
And we talked about it for a little bit. I talked to him about the girl on the front cover of Famous Monsters 1. That was awesome. And who was his girlfriend at the time.
He's like, how did you know that?
How'd you know that? So that, yeah. But yeah, it was just super cool. And he was an incredibly nice guy. And he kind of messed around with the mask a little bit. I was hoping he was going to put it on.
He's like, it was really hard to breathe in this thing.
Yeah, I was hoping he was going to put it on, but he didn't.
He probably had like PTSD. I'm sure that thing was really tough to breathe.
If any of you guys know who's doing Famous Monsters 1 masks, if there's anybody out there that is doing an FM1, I would love to get one of those to put with this. So if you know somebody, please
there's
send
a lot
me a
of great
message on
mask makers
Instagram
out there.
Or send an email or message or whatever. Like if you know of somebody that's doing FM1 masks, I really, really, really want to get one of those to go with this. So, but yeah, Jim Warren, incredibly nice guy. I hope he's there next year when they do the next Famous Monsters convention.
Yeah.
And
he said he'd take us to dinner. So
he did.
We will be there.
Promised us.
And
so I'm hoping it happens.
To be able to sit down and have dinner with Jim Warren will be the coolest thing that ever happened. So
but that's the story behind this one. It's okay that it crumbled in his hands because I'm perfectly okay with that. Just a great story behind this. So
he's the best.
Yeah, and thankfully I had more because if this was the only one I had, that would have.
It still would have been awesome.
It still would have been.
It still would have been completely okay.
It would have been all right.
It would mean. It just means so much as it is.
Yeah, incredibly nice guy. So you can check that episode out here on the channel.
If you ever have an opportunity to meet him,
oh, do it.
Do whatever you got to do. Fly.
It.
Get on a plane if you have to.
We drove like 8 hours in the pouring rain.
Yeah, that was a long, long day, and we got there just before he left.
Yeah,
it was just meant to be.
Yeah,
that moment was meant to happen.
For sure. You get there.
Let's get caught up, guys. I apologize for the wait. And yes, Ghost Vikings also running out of room. Space Case says Trick or Treat Studios still has the Don Post license, though, right? I do not know.
Yeah, I didn't see that on the list of cancellations.
Okay.
There is a long list, though. There's other stuff that I'm not really that interested in, some of the slasher stuff, but they did lose a whole bunch of licenses. It was like 10, 15.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. But
There's a lot of licenses that
it's a shame
because
they do incredible work.
I know Chucky was one of them.
Oh, Gotham City Comics does say, though, they've lost licenses before and then got them back. So
so there's
that would be really, really comforting. That makes me feel a little bit better now because I definitely knew a bunch of that stuff.
That would be cool.
Kid, that was the Holy Grail.
That was the Holy Grail. What'd you do with it? Did you sell that? Did you sell the Mr. Bones box?
Is scaring me.
Did you sell the Mr. Bones box? Yikes.
What DVD shows his collection, The Monsters?
This one.
Yes. Which you probably commented this before we showed it, but just in case.
In case you missed it, this is the one that shows his collection. And definitely pick this up. This is so much fun to watch. This whole disc is just a total
He really makes
blast.
it entertaining. Dan's like such an entertainer. And he really it's already cool stuff and he makes it even more fun to watch. So
yeah, he's just awesome.
Yeah.
Dan
super cool guy. Such a great guy. One of the perks about living in LA. Okay, yes, definitely. I would imagine so. But Ghost Viking gets too far away, so he lives it through you. But we are very happy to bring you all the cool upper East Coast stuff that we can. But we're hoping to branch out, and there's definitely some stuff that we've got our eye on, like some cons that are a little bit further away.
The thing is, I mean, if there's like, we're fortunate that we have Monster Bash in Pennsylvania because that is our favorite convention. That is the must go to if you're a classic Monster Kid fan. Yeah. And that's the thing with this channel and why I even created this channel was because I didn't, at the time, there wasn't, many classic Monster Kid channels. Like if you grew up with, I mean, I was a little kid when my father loved the Monsters and, I watched the Monsters with him and I watched, Creature Feature. And so I grew up with the classic monster stuff. So there wasn't a lot of classic monster channels. Over time, you discover some of these other great ones, like Ray Castile's channel is amazing, Basement of Horror.
Incredible.
Dr. Durant's Sanctum is amazing.
Yes.
His channel is awesome.
It's got a lot of cool costumes too.
There's a few really cool Monster Kid channels, but there wasn't a lot of them. There's a lot of slashers and a lot of horror and stuff. So there wasn't too many.
Yeah, a lot of people hitting up like those modern slasher type conventions.
Yeah, there wasn't too much classic monster. So we made this channel because we wanted to do like something where we could just connect classic monster fans, the people who love the Universal and the Hammer and the you know, the B movies, that I Was a Teenage Werewolf and, you know, How to Make a Monster and, you know, all that stuff, the, you know, Invasion of the Saucer Men, like those kind of things, the old school Monster Kid culture. So it's cool that other people have found the channel through that, and dark rides, because dark rides really do encompass that.
Yeah, if you're a monster kid and you go to the amusement park, what's going to stand out to you the most? It's going to be the dark ride.
Yeah.
And like when we go to the cons, like, you know, even when we go to toy shows, we're looking for the monster toys there. So it's like, you know, we try to show you guys all the cool stuff that we go to and that we do that ties in with monsters.
But the point is that if you know of something like that, that's classic monster based or has a large, you know, example of that, whether it's a con or an event, let us know, because then that would be worth us traveling. Obviously we're crazy enough to fly across the country to go ride some Bill Tracy dark rides out in Utah. So obviously traveling, we'll do it, but we want it to be more, you know, we want to make sure that's like a classic thing, because she likes a lot of the slashers, but it's all monsters for me.
I love monsters more than slashers. You know this. Andy, where did you get that Mr. Bones tea? Where did you get that? Do you remember?
I don't know.
He has a billion shirts. Like, I'm not even exaggerating.
But Jay, if he's still here, he had this box. And I remember when he got this
like
box,
a sealed box, he said?
He had a full box. And I'm probably one of the only handful known to exist, a full box, this artwork and everything. He had that box. Amazing. I know he got it for a steal of a price back when he got it, but if he doesn't still have it, he's crazy.
Favorite Christmas song? Glamrock 90 wants to know.
Wow.
That's a cool question.
Oh, man. We're actually going to put this episode up in a couple of days. You're
jumping the gun.
You're a little ahead here.
It's like you're reading our mind.
Yeah, that episode's going to be up in like a day or two. But yeah,
since you asked,
I don't know, man. I love Surfing Santa from the Ramblers. Thanks to Howie Pyro, who I miss terribly. I loved Howie Pyro. He's an amazing human. I miss talking to him, especially this time of the year, because from Halloween to Christmas, we would communicate and talk like a lot. For some reason, it always seemed this was the time of the year that me and Howie would always text back and forth and stuff. And he turned me on to so much incredible music, and I miss him every single day of my life. I don't think a day goes by where he doesn't pop into my head just listening to different songs in the car that he turned me on to. So Surfing Santa from the Ramblers is a big one because of that. But, you know, I love that. I love Marshmallow World.
By Darlene Love.
That would probably be my
favorite. Version is the best.
Yeah, Darlene Love's Marshmallow World.
She is such an incredible singer, and she's just like, she makes the song so much fun.
Yeah, there's some great ones though. I mean, Zat You Santa Claus from Louis Armstrong's amazing. I love so many, but probably Marshmallow World if I had to pick one. Darlene Love version.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Those songs definitely resonate with me as well, because they're just great songs. So if I'm making a Christmas playlist, they're both definitely on it. Obviously Louis Armstrong's That You Santa Claus. Backdoor Santa. That song is a funky song. And if you don't feel that song
Santa Claus Wants Some Lovin'.
Santa Claus Wants Some Lovin' is that's a good group.
There's a lot of great Christmas songs.
There really is. And they're not.
I challenge anybody, because I've always said, like, you know, like, people like, I hate Christmas music. I hate it. And I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
I get it. But
the ones you walk into the store in here are unbearable.
Yeah.
The Mariah Careys, the Justin Bieber, the Taylor Swift.
But if you really dig in and try to find some stuff, you'll find some songs you love.
There's some really, really, really good Christmas songs. Like, I love those. Like a lot of the classics, you know, obviously there's every singer did like.
So what'd you pick?
Christmas. I still, I mean, and because it reminds me of being a kid. I like Welcome Christmas from the Grinch That Stole Christmas, the original one, narrated by the incredible Boris Karloff, which I think is a big reason that I always loved the Grinch. Like, I mean, he was kind of a jerk. I mean, he was definitely a jerk, but he turned it around in the end. He was terrible.
His heart grew 2 sizes.
I know, but his heart grew 2 sizes, and he was like, let's just like have some roast beast, squash
and anything
this.
that grows 2 sizes, it's a good thing. What do we?
I can't with him. But the Grinch, I love the Grinch. So, yeah. Ghost Viking was there when Sven showed up in Chicago on Channel 32 back in '79. That is awesome.
That's when he started out as a son of Sven, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing. Watch him every Saturday on MeTV. Yeah, we actually have to get caught up. We've been slacking. But we have we bought the Friendly app. If you have a Fire Stick and you download the Friendly app on there, you can record Sven and watch him whenever, as well as like Collector's Call and all the other shows on there. So definitely. And Joe Bob Briggs on Shudder.
Yeah, there's some really good episodes of Collector's Call too.
Yeah.
That have a lot of monster stuff. There's like a whole Creature from the Black Lagoon episode that's really cool, and there are some really good episodes of that.
Yeah, there really is. You gotta check that out. Joe Bob Briggs on Shudder too. Yeah, I gotta be honest, I didn't really get into Joe Bob Briggs until recently, but I really like him and Darcy. I love Darcy. Yeah, she's Darcy awesome. Rules. Like, I just think that their chemistry is hilarious to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because she's just like, her personality just cracks me up, and like her with Joe together they're a really good duo, and I really enjoy, like, because I do like some slasher stuff and some more modern stuff that they play, and I love watching them together. And then you have Sven, which is more of the classic stuff and more of like that slapstick kind of.
Gwen Gooley.
He's got a whole team now.
Yeah,
he's got a whole crew. The Imp and Nostalgia Ferrato, I love him. I think he's hilarious. So it's cool to see that there's still 2 horror hosts, and they're completely different. So it's like,
there's a lot of local ones too. If you're lucky enough to live in certain areas in the country, there are local horror hosts who do a lot of, like,
Mr. Lobo, Cinema Insomnia.
That's our guy. That's our Pennsylvania guy.
He's ours. He's our problem.
Yeah, we own him now. He's ours.
He's awesome.
So shout out to Mr. Lobo.
Yes, if you haven't checked out Cinema Insomnia, definitely do it. Mr. Lobo is a good friend of ours, and he's awesome. He's a funny guy. And if you haven't watched,
we squashed the beef between him and I. There was some beef for a little while
because he talked smack on Monster Bash.
He did. No, he talked some smack on Monster Mash, which is my all-time favorite song. And he made a little video, and I was going to drop him at Monster Bash, and decided that we'd squash it instead.
He made a very valid point.
He did.
Because the whole point of him making his kind of like diss track on Monster Mash is just to let people know that there are all these other incredible Halloween songs out there, which you and Howie both always triumphed that whole point.
No, I agree. I agree. It's just,
his delivery was a little triggering for you, but
yeah, he literally called it trash. So
you were ready to fight him.
I was going to take him out. There wasn't going to be any more Mr. Lobo. It's going to be the sniper. When
you brought it up to him, he said that, and you're like, okay.
Yeah. We hugged it out and we squashed it. It's all cool now.
And then he gave you a 10-minute monologue.
Yeah. I love Mr. Lobo.
As Dracula. We had so much fun with him. Him and Roebuck were at the Monster Bash that we went to back in June.
Yeah, them 2 guys are so much fun.
And like, we had David the Rock Nelson was there with the giant ant, and it was just, there was probably about like 10-15 of us just hanging out. And it was just this little impromptu thing. And we were there for probably like a half hour. I don't think I've ever laughed that hard in my life that I did during that half hour.
Yeah, you can actually see that too on the last Monster Bash episode. Well, the second to last Monster Bash episode, the one from summer.
And Lobo's pretending to be a janitor.
Yeah.
As the janitor walks up.
Yeah, it's great.
And the guy's like, what are you doing?
We love Mr. Lobo. We love Daniel Roebuck. These guys are fantastic. But if you're lucky enough
so much fun.
To live in an area that has a horror host.
Yeah. Support them.
For sure, support them.
But
let us know too, because unfortunately we don't. We can't cover the whole entire country, and there are a lot of like local ones that just either through cable access or they do like internet stuff.
Yeah.
There are some smaller ones, and there's a lot of good guys. Shout out to anybody.
Yeah.
There's in Ohio, I think there's Drac and
Oh, yeah.
Countess Carita.
Yes, they're awesome.
They're sweet people.
Yes.
We don't get to watch their stuff because they're in Ohio.
Yeah,
but
we don't have access. But I think that you might be able to stream them somewhere.
Yeah, I think I saw them on.
We'll have to do a special on Horror Host. So let us know who you've got in your area, so we can.
I mean, we've all got Sven, so I mean, everybody's.
We've all got Sven, and we've all got Joe, Bob, and Darcy.
I have to. Total shout out and support for anybody that's doing the Horror Host thing and trying to keep that culture alive. Same thing with the drive-in cultures that do the classic monster stuff. Like we're spoiled over here in PA because we've got Mahoning, and we've got
there's a lot of theaters that do,
and we've got Monster Bash, and we're spoiled as monster.
We have it pretty good here. Like we complain a lot because we're on the eastern side of the state, and it's not the best side of the state, but we do have, we're only a couple hours drive from a lot of really incredible stuff. So we are spoiled in that aspect.
But if you have a cool one, let us know what it is,
and we'll come out there and hang out. All right, let's get more caught up. He's going to be on this Friday for a Christmas special, Joe Bob. We are definitely going to be watching that. Anything with Darcy in a Christmas outfit, he is definitely going to be watching. But I love Darcy. She followed me back on Instagram.
So. We're gonna do that.
She's super sweet. It'd be cool.
Okay.
We got to meet her. We got to meet her. I like her. I know you do too. She's so pretty. All right, let's see. Where the hell are we now? Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to figure out where we're on the chat because for some reason, anytime I go to scroll, it jumps. Okay, here we go. Space Case USA up all night.
Very good.
I did my best. I'm a little hoarse because we're an hour in. Have every DVD and even VCR tape.
Oh, from
Dan. Okay, I'm like, what? But yeah, he's awesome. And has the 3D glasses.
Sir Graves Ghastly. Yeah, I do know that one. I do know that one.
Nice. Thanks for the DVD info. Definitely going to be buying the Vault of Horror. Yes. If you're just tuning in now, sorry, Snackula. Get this. This is incredible. Anything that Dan Roebuck puts out, he's one of us. And he puts out stuff.
I will say too, what is a real shame is that, I love so bad the original spook show culture and horror host eras and stuff. And it's unbelievable to me how little footage survives of that stuff. There's almost no spook show footage. There's almost no, there's so many horror hosts. Very, very little bits and pieces of stuff survives. Like Dr. Shock, there's so very little footage. Vampira, there's literally just a little bit of footage. And that's a shame that it wasn't documented more and, better preserved for future generations because it's like a lost stuff. And thankfully, Zachary was smart enough to keep copies of all his stuff. The reason why there's so much Zachary footage is because it all came from his archives. He saved everything.
Yeah.
And so we got lucky with that. So there's a lot of these guys. There's next to nothing. But I am aware of Sir Graves Ghastly, and I know there was a bunch of other ones too. Back then, we did like a horror host thing. There was Goulardi, there was so many. They had great names, Margus the Magnificent, like just great stuff. But I would love to see some classic, footage surface of some lost Dr. Shock tapes or something because he was on in the 70s. There could be. Somebody could have Betamax taped some of those episodes and they could just be in someone's attic somewhere. It's certainly possible.
Yeah, definitely. You guys need to come out to the West Coast. We are definitely going to be
working on it.
We're working on it. There's a lot of cool stuff that we want to check out. We're still trying to get up to Niagara Falls. We're working on that. A couple other things, but there's so much out there on the West Coast that we got to bring to you guys. And if you have anything that you would recommend, definitely let us know. Movie John says, hey guys, what's up, Movie John? Thank you so much for tuning in.
Hey, thank you again for that shout out, man. We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And shout out to Tony from Why Not Art. He sent me a link and he said, hey, have you seen this? And when I first looked at it and I saw that somebody mentioned Dark Red Dracula, I was like, oh no.
And subscribe to them too.
Oh no.
Definitely go show Why Not Art and Movie John some love too.
It's like, what is this? Here we go. And thankfully it was a positive.
Like, oh no, what do we do?
Yeah.
but thank you so much. That was so nice of you.
Cool.
We really
and go check
it.
out Movie John's channel.
It's just Movie John, all one word. go check him out, subscribe, and show him some love.
Yeah, he's got a great channel that's got like a whole bunch of movie reviews. I'm gonna dig into that because it's raining out. So when we're done with this, I'm actually gonna check out some.
Yeah, winter is when we really start to dive into YouTube and old film. So
shout out to Movie John.
And thank you, Movie John.
Thank you for that. We appreciate it.
Ghost Viking loves Scary Monsters magazine. It's great.
The best.
I love it.
That's by far the best magazine that exists today, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some great ones. Don't get me wrong. Horror Hound is cool. And,
yeah, they get a lot of cool stuff.
The Monster Bash magazine's great.
Yes.
We love that one. But Scary Monsters just, I don't know what it is about that. I think maybe because it's just primarily classic stuff, but those issues, man, they take you on a trip.
Yeah,
and that's why really I love them so much. You know, when you open the cover, you're like transported back to the old school, the drive-in days of classic monsters, and the way those issues flow together are just. I love Scary Monsters magazine.
Definitely
love it.
And Ghost Viking just bought James Warren's book recently.
That's fantastic.
Book. He's the best, and he's so nice.
I didn't even know he was.
Still alive. I still check. I check the mailbox every day for a Christmas card from him.
Yeah, he promised us a Christmas card. We're waiting for that.
But it's only December 10th.
Yeah.
If we receive a Christmas card from Jim Warren, I'm gonna cry. So that's that'd be so awesome.
It's one of my favorite videos you two have done, but he did tear your magazine looking at it. He did. Space Case. He wrecked it.
He totally wrecked it. But
there it is.
If anybody can get away with it,
copy.
It's him. It's it was like a moment, but
it's still. I mean, the cover's off. What are you gonna do? It's
dude,
still.
These things they were not meant to last.
Yeah.
For decades and decades and decades. So if anybody's going to rip the cover off your FM2. Okay.
I have 4 of these.
Hope that it's Jim Warren.
we're good. He can destroy one. It's fine. It's
we have multiples.
This will always be my favorite that I have, though, because
it's so special. It's so special now.
There we go.
That old time paper smell. Yes.
He wanted to sniff it. I don't know.
And actually, he Space Case asked where we got the mask from, and that one. Let me see.
Somewhere.
It's from Etsy. Let me see if I can remember my login, which is going to be a task. But there's actually a really good mask maker on Etsy that made it.
But he doesn't. The guy who made that one does not make the FM1 mask. And that's unfortunate because I know somebody's got to be making that thing.
Yeah.
Definitely. I just haven't been able to find one. So if you know somebody that's doing the FM1 mask, please let me know. I would really like to get one of those.
Yeah. Because
the originals don't survive. There is you will never find the original of this or the original of FM1. They don't survive. There's no surviving copies. So this is as close as you can get. And he did a beautiful job on this one. So I know somebody's got to do the FM1.
All right. Oh my God, Etsy. No, I don't want to buy this.
Okay, don't worry about that. We'll get the information.
Eventually, I'll find it. Etsy's trying to
scroll that.
Like this. All right. You ever smell those model boxes too? Yes. Didn't he date the models on the cover with him? Yes, he did. That was she's actually on the inside of Famous Monsters 2 as well.
Her name is in there. Yeah, he showed me that. He said, if you want to know her name, he goes, I can tell you. I'm like, why? Is it a secret? And he said, no, it's an FM2.
And yes, collectors do love that smell. And thank you so much for the compliment. That was a really cool interview. That one was awesome. I'd have to tape it too. Andy, where did you get that tea? Oh, shoot.
I'm not sure. Have you guys ever heard of Drac Snacks? Yes, I have heard of Drac Snacks. Those packages are still floating around for some reason. Surviving packages of some of that stuff still exists. You can find those. The display box, the countertop is pretty rare. The original countertop box, but there are packs around. Unlike Mr. Bones boxes, which are like hen's teeth, and if somebody had one and sold it, what are you thinking? They're rare. Remember flea markets, you guys too, always great stuff. Wish we had flea markets like that around where I live. There's a lot of flea markets out this way. That one, I will say one thing about that flea market, though. I suppose this is like popping the bubble, I guess. But even though there's cool stuff there, it's not it's not priced like at what's the word? It's priced at eBay price.
Yeah,
How's that?
It's
not
eBay in real life.
Yeah, it's eBay in real life. It's not you're not walking up and
No.
hey, look, there's a whole table of Mego figures and they're all $3 a piece. It's nothing like that. Like, as cool as it is that flea market has cool stuff, you're gonna pay for it. It's definitely not a place where you can go and get like steals. Usually, sometimes it does work out in your favor though. Sometimes you do find cool stuff. I have found some amazing things there. But I've paid for 90% of them. So if you want to eBay shop in real life, it's a really cool flea market to go to because the stuff's there, but it's priced accordingly, as probably most flea markets are today anyway. I think everybody now is like, you go up to the stand and how much is this Dracula figure? Hold on one second. Let me.
It sells for this on eBay, guy.
Yeah, it's selling for 60 on eBay.
So I went 70 because you can have it right now. And you're like, but if you sell it on eBay, you got to pay fees. And they're like, don't care. Move along. Okay. But yeah.
But the reason why I make those videos anyway is because like sometimes you do see things that you forget about. That's one thing that I've always liked about a lot of these other channels is that you see things that, hey, it triggers off a memory. Sometimes you'll walk by something and you go, I haven't seen that in, a million years. Like I remember that from when I was a kid and that's why I started filming that, because I figured maybe people would have the same sort of thing. Like, hey, I remember that. I played with that when I was 6 and I haven't seen it since then or whatever. So that's why it's pretty cool for that. But as far as deals, not so much.
So yeah, I mean, the best thing to do to just find the flea markets in your area is just Google them. I mean, because usually there's people posting about them, but we are kind of spoiled out here in this particular area where we have access to a good amount of them. Watson family, Mr. Lobo used to be in Sacramento area where I'm from. That's awesome. Yeah, he's actually, last time we saw him, he was talking about how, like, some stories from back when he used to do, like, he would do spook shows and stuff out there, too. And I can't imagine how fun that used to be.
That's how I remember, we started seeing him at Blobfest do the spook shows. He was really trying to bring that back. Yeah. And that is something that's so sorely missed from Blobfest. I don't care.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Blobfest is not. Is not what it was. Yeah. Like
I wanted it to steer back in that direction, but it didn't. Once it came back after the pandemic, it was a completely different, the vibe wasn't there. What made it special wasn't there anymore. I mean, it's always going to be cool because it's a Colonial Theater. That's where it was filmed. I mean, there's always going to be that.
I wanted to wear a shirt that said Lobo or GTFO, but
I told him Lobo or No Go was going to be the shirt.
I wanted to wear GTFO.
Yeah, I think that he was such a, when we went to Blobfest for the first time, he was the host, and I just think that he made it so special that his absence was sorely missed. And when it came back after the pandemic, it's just like, it was just like, it's cool and all, but it was so much more special. Like, if we had never seen it when he was the host, we'd be like, oh, this is cool. But knowing how awesome it was when he was hosting it and how interactive it was and how there was so much more going on when he was the host, it was really special. And we missed that.
Yeah.
We missed that a lot.
For sure.
Let me see. I had Bob Wilkins and John Stanley from Creature Features when I was young.
That's cool.
That is really cool.
I'm familiar with Bob Wilkins, but not John Stanley.
So we will definitely do some research on that. And Watts family also seconds the recommendation on the Dan Roebuck DVD. Sure. Yes, I second anything with Dan Roebuck. He's awesome. And it's cool because, like, no matter what show you like, he was probably on an episode of it. So do a little research on it. If you look him up on IMDb, he was in every show. Like, I love
6 Degrees of Dan Roebuck.
Yeah. I know, like the hell with Kevin Bacon. It's 6 Degrees of Dan Roebuck. He's just in everything. Like, I love King of Queens. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. And there's one where he plays a cop that he's like attracted to Carrey, and Doug tells Carrey, like, you should go on a date with him to try to get out of this ticket.
And it's Dan Roebuck, yeah.
And it's Dan Roebuck.
Cool.
And it's a really funny episode. And it just, of course, in true King of Queens style, Arthur ruins everything. So we absolutely love that.
There's a documentary on horror hosts on Amazon.
And American Scary.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Oh, okay,
I love
yes.
that. I got the DVD of that.
That one's
That's
awesome.
pretty amazing.
Professor Mortis Silver, Scream Science Spook Show in Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow,
Write
not
that
familiar
down.
with that.
Mm.
Not familiar with that one. I got to check into that.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
This has turned out to be a fun Saturday night. Thank you so much, Glamrock. We are also having fun with you guys. Huh?
Sunday night.
Did I say Saturday?
You said Saturday.
Oh my God,
It's
I'm
Sunday.
sorry. I'm off tomorrow, so it feels like Saturday, and I apologize.
I remember seeing
my thoughts
some
are with everybody
original
having to go back to work tomorrow.
art on Drac Snacks on eBay a year ago and waited, and next time I looked, it was gone. Yeah,
No.
stuff like that, man. Anytime that you see something on there that's like a one-of-a-kind thing or something, it's like you got to get it right then and there. You might never have another chance. It's tough.
Mm.
Speaking of which, I was going to actually bid on something, and
You didn't win this auction.
I didn't win.
Did it sell for more than you were willing to spend?
Nah, sold right about it. I got to
stings.
stop anyway. I got to stop. I'm going to be living in a box of monsters if I
You're gonna have to build a house out of all these monsters.
I know.
We
I
sold.
should have went after that though.
Yeah, that was a cool thing. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool, like Tubi's got a lot of cool documentaries and stuff too. It's a Tubi's.
Yeah, actually, there's a
rabbit
great
hole.
classic drive-in documentary that we wound up in.
Yes, that's on HBO Max. It's called Under the Stars.
Yeah,
I think. Is it Under the Stars?
yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because we actually went to the Mahoning Drive-In was having this Living Dead weekend, I think is what it was called, and of course they were showing Night of the Living Dead, and we're like, that'd be pretty cool. We've never seen Night of the Living Dead at the drive-in. Well, I've never seen it at the drive-in. Did you? I've seen it in like cool old theaters and stuff, but never at the drive-in. So John Russo was going to be there as well, so we decided that would be a really cool thing to go check out. So for some reason, every time we go to the Mahoning, it's raining every single time. I don't think I've ever been there and seen like blue skies overhead or clear skies. It's always like having to sit in the car because we're getting rained on.
Actually, it's probably better that I didn't win that because I got to try to win that other thing that ends next weekend.
Oh my God. The life of a monster collector.
You know the thing next weekend that just popped up yesterday?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Got to save all the pennies for that.
Gotta say,
but yeah, John Russo.
Yeah, gotta start donating.
Who was an amazing guy too, super nice guy, John Russo.
He's super nice.
He loves women.
He's a funny guy.
He loves the ladies, John Russo.
And we had met him there that night. Well, when we got there, we found out that there was actually a film crew from Paris.
Yeah.
That was filming a documentary on American drive-ins, and we kind of just chalked it up to, okay, that's cool, but not knowing that it was actually going to end up on HBO. You know, usually you hear that
we wound up in it,
and we're in it, like just walking. We weren't even talking. And
it's pretty cool.
I'm looking at my phone and I'm walking and I'm talking to him like, and it was just, it's kind of funny because you actually wound up in another documentary right after that. There was the Amityville series that was on recently. Yeah. My friend Courtney texts me. She goes, "Hey," she goes, because she was just home watching the series, and she goes, I think he's in. She's like, check out episode 3 or whatever it was. She goes, he's in it. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like, we were just in a documentary, and sure enough, we were actually in the middle of like watching that too, and we got to that part, and sure enough, he was there in front of the Amityville. I was like, it was hilarious. It was a picture that you actually had put on your Instagram.
Yeah.
That only got like 80 likes. So apparently one of the people that viewed.
But John Russo was really cool. He signed the Night of the Living Dead poster that we have. I got this insert poster, and he signed that, and then he did a little video clip thing where he referred to us as Dark Ride Jacula. So I don't know if it was on purpose or what, man. Like, he clearly says Dark Ride Jacula. So I don't know. Great guy though.
He's so funny. And Monster Kids do not stop. They really don't. Glamrock's gotta go. Thank you so much for tuning in, Glamrock.
Thanks
and
for
we'll definitely catch you next time.
You've got to save your money for the Monsterizer tomorrow.
Thank you, Voodoo Powder. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Because we don't know how much it's gonna be.
I know.
We got to save all our pennies for the Monsterizer, just in case.
Well, I got a thing ending next Saturday, so
you'll be able to.
Hopefully.
So for now, save your pennies for the Monsterizer. I'm gonna worry about the other thing next week.
Yeah. Is that all of them?
No,
What do we got?
right underneath. Why Not Art says, do you guys have the Crestwood Monster book in your collection? Do you collect paperbacks or monster movies? How many Scholastic books?
I have 2 Crestwood books. I have the Creature from the Black Lagoon, of course, and the Blob. Just because it was the Blob, even though it's not the 58 Blob, which is my favorite Blob movie. It's the what's the second one?
Son of Blob?
No, it's not Son of Blob.
I don't remember.
Whatever, the goofy one.
Yeah.
You know, the goofy Blob movie. I can't think of it. Anyway, it's based off of that one. But still, the fact that it was a Blob book was like, I got those 2. But no, there's some great ones. Them Crestwood books are awesome. I mean, I don't remember. It might be Ray Castile. Somebody's got the Crestwood bookstore display or the school display or whatever that has like with the bat and all the books in it, and it's like a big display, and it's got like all the books and that bat that's on the back of the Crestwood books.
I remember
it's like
seeing
a whole, like a tabletop
that.
killer display that's like unused. And then there's variants. There's like purple covers or blue covers or something, and there's a lot of that stuff. Now I only got Creature from the Black Lagoon and the Blob. They're expensive, those books. In good shape. If you can get them in good shape, they're tough.
No, that's
the only other outside of that, the only other like similar, the Scholastic type stuff is I got like 2 or 3 of Glenn Danzig's books, the horror movies books.
Yeah. That
he owned originally.
Yeah.
I've got his was it horror movie? Is it horror movies? The green cover one that says horror movies on it. I'm sure you've seen it. It's a pretty common.
And
book.
how do we know they belong to him?
They came out of his basement. But there's that one. There's that, I think, vampires one. There's a vampire on the front getting staked on the front.
Oh, that's.
Which one's
that?
Isn't
that one also got all the horror movies or something? I don't know. I can't keep them straight.
Yeah, there's like, I think I got like 3 of them. There's like them 2, and I think there's one other one. But I got them because they were his. But no, there's so many of those books.
So many books.
And then the thing is too is like, again, with space and stuff, it's like I collect the Scary Monsters magazines, and there's already like 150 of those. So it's like you can get crazy with collecting books. And then of course Kirk Hammett's book, Bob Burns' Monster Kid Memories book. That's amazing. There's so many cool books. But yeah, I know it was a long answer to that question.
That was.
But yeah, we got those 2
Anyone still here?
We got those 2.
Why Not Art says, love you guys. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for keeping the love of monsters alive, and thank you. Why Not Art?
Keep making boo-boos.
We actually have Boo Boo back there. She's knocked out.
Sleeping. Yeah. So yeah, are you guys gonna get the Monsterizer? If so, goes on sale tomorrow, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. They say it's gonna be limited. They say it's gonna sell out. I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. We'll see what happens.
But they are, it does say on the site that they are trying to kind of prevent scammers and bots and
cut
stuff
down
like
on
that.
scalpers and all of that stuff.
It's probably going to be a limit of like 1 or 2 max, I'm sure. So hopefully all us monster kids are able to get Snackula's not care at all. Come here, baby. Oh, she's being super cute though.
So yeah, I mean, hopefully everybody that wants one can get one. Hopefully it's not like a crazy limited thing. We'll see.
She's disappointed in us right now.
Totally. But yeah, I mean, that's coming out, and the Dracula that completes that set now comes out.
Yeah,
is available for pre-order. So we'll see that.
Hi, baby. Here, move this so she can come up and say hi. Come here, baby. Come here. Come on.
She wants no part of what you're doing.
No, she's had enough. Oh, there she is. Say hi to everybody, baby. Say hi. This is little Snackula. Baby, who's this? Who's that? Look, it's you. Famous. She's had enough.
Yeah, totally. So anyway, guys, thank you for hanging out with us here on this Sunday night. It's been fun
Yes.
talking to all of you. You guys are great, and thank you for subscribing and being a part of this channel. We love classic Monster Kid culture, so to meet other people that love this stuff like we do is just awesome. And so hopefully we can build a little cool community here and show you guys some cool stuff that's around, you know, in this country to go and visit and check out, like classic dark rides and monster conventions and events and different things.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Really appreciate it. We will see you soon for some more stuff. We've got some episodes in the can here. So if we're not back on for another live chat beforehand, Merry Christmas,
Yes.
Happy Hanukkah, whatever you
Currently
celebrate.
Hanukkah, so if you're celebrating, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Merry Kwanzaa, Happy New Year,
Yeah, all
and
of,
all
that
of the
stuff.
above.
So we will see you soon. I hope all of you get a Monsterizer tomorrow if you want one. And we'll see you guys again real soon. Space Case, we love you as well.
We
Thank
love
you
you
so much
guys.
for hanging out.
Thank
and
you.
Yeah, stay creepy and keep in touch with us on Instagram, Dracula
Yes.
Amy. I'm Dark Red Dracula on Instagram, and we will we'll see you soon here on the channel for some more stuff. And yeah, if it weren't for Venetian blinds, it'd be curtains for us all. We'll see you soon.
Dog's disappointed in you.
That's it.
She's had enough.
See ya.
Okay.